The story begins by showing us a killer who has just committed several murders. As the police arrive to apprehend him, the killer makes a quick escape, running across tiles and onto the road. There, he encounters a young man named Arza, who is holding a peculiar arrow. Arza shoots the arrow right through the killer's neck. Astonishingly, as Arza pulls the arrow out, the killer comes back to life, seemingly unharmed. Arza congratulates him, declaring that he has been chosen. Before the police can reach them, Arza vanishes. The killer then floats into the air and surrenders to the police. What's truly shocking is that this killer possesses the ability to control water. At the police station, during questioning, the police suddenly notice that the entire station is filling with water. This water transforms into sharp projectiles and shoots the officers, killing them one by one. After eliminating the last officer, the killer uses his mysterious power to disappear and escape, leaving a trail of destruction behind him. Next, we meet a new student named Koichi, who has just moved to the city. Excited for his first day, Koichi sets off for school on his new bicycle. On his way, he is accosted by two boys from another school. However, their attention soon shifts to another boy standing nearby, and they begin to bother him instead. Koichi, unconcerned, simply apologizes and tries to leave. One of the bullies makes fun of the other boy's unique hairstyle. This insult enrages the boy, later revealed to be Josuke. In a flash, his surroundings transform into a purple pyramid, and the two bullies are suddenly injured and fall to the ground. Koichi, who witnessed this from a distance, is left utterly confused, wondering how it was possible. Josuke warns the bullies that anyone who makes fun of his hair will face his wrath, and then he walks away. Surprisingly, the bullies' bloodied faces instantly return to normal, and terrified, they flee the scene. Koichi, grateful for Josuke's intervention, thanks him. He then realizes that Josuke is a student from his own school. However, Josuke pretends not to know Koichi and leaves. Impressed, Koichi continues his journey to school, only to find that his previously broken bicycle is now perfectly repaired. Later, at school, while Koichi is still thinking about Josuke, a disturbing incident occurs. As two boys play near water, a stream of water inexplicably enters one boy's mouth. He collapses, suffering from a strange blood loss, and then water bursts from his body, poisoning his friend, whose eyes turn black. Leaving school, Koichi spots the man responsible for poisoning the boy. Josuke is also present and notices something strange about the man's eyes. Wanting to avoid trouble, Josuke tries to leave, but the man makes a fatal mistake by mocking Josuke's hair. Enraged, Josuke confronts the man. It turns out this man not only traps women but also uses his water-controlling power to pass through people. Josuke quickly realizes that the water, not blood, was inside the boy's stomach. A torrent of water then gushes out of the boy's stomach. We learn that Josuke possesses a superpower that allows him to regenerate or restore anything to its original state. The man controlling the water is identified as the same killer from the opening scene. Before the police arrive, Josuke manages to escape. That night, we see Arza again, this time using his arrow on a businessman. He tells the man he could be chosen to develop his own power, but the businessman dies. Arza, looking upset, removes his arrow and disappears. We discover that Arza uses the arrow to test people, and the killer, Pani, the water controller, also met his end this way, meaning Arza is checking if someone is suitable to become a stand user. The next day, as Josuke heads to school, he tries to speed up on his bicycle and starts to fall. But before he hits the ground, he is back on his feet. Standing nearby is a man who reveals himself as Josuke's cousin, and he knew what was about to happen. He approaches Josuke, guiding him, but Josuke doesn't recognize him. Josuke's cousin claims to be his father and demands his father's property. Josuke rejects him, stating he doesn't need a father as he is happy with his mother and father, and tries to go to school. Suddenly, three girls appear and, in a manner that Josuke dislikes, comment on his hair. This once again infuriates Josuke, and he attacks them. However, the girls remain unharmed, as Josuke's cousin possesses even greater superpowers. Josuke's cousin explains that these unique abilities are called stands, and only other stand users can see them. Josuke, showing little interest, attempts to attack again, but his cousin punches him from behind, revealing his superior power. Josuke's cousin is aware of the water-controlling killer and warns Josuke that his own power can protect him from this danger. Josuke begins to understand more about the water user and the necessity of using his stand. His cousin observes that if Josuke fully unleashes his power, the killer will become even more dangerous. Before he can fully explain, the killer launches an attack on Josuke's house. It begins to rain heavily, and the killer orders his stand to eliminate Josuke and his family. Due to the heavy rain, the killer's water-based stand becomes incredibly powerful and dangerous. Josuke's mother is drinking water when Josuke sees the water stand attempting to enter her mouth. Quick thinking, he uses his stand power to generate a glass bottle inside her stomach, trapping the water stand within. His mother, oblivious to the danger, then walks away. Josuke secures the bottle and calls his cousin to inform him. His cousin instructs him to keep a close watch on the bottle until he arrives. However, Josuke becomes careless, leaving the bottle on the table and starting to play a game. The stand inside the bottle sees Josuke's grandfather and transforms itself into a wine bottle. His grandfather, mistaking it for wine, takes it upstairs with him. Josuke hears a loud noise from upstairs and realizes the bottle is no longer on the table. He rushes upstairs, only to find his grandfather dead. Just then, Josuke's cousin arrives and sees Josuke trying to use his stand to revive his grandfather. His cousin explains that while Josuke's stand can regenerate and restore objects, it cannot bring the dead back to life. Josuke's cousin hears a noise downstairs and goes to investigate. He finds the entire downstairs flooded with water and hears the killer's threatening voice all around. The water stand attacks Josuke's cousin, injuring him. Josuke comes down to fight the water stand, but it suddenly disappears and attacks him from below. Just as the water stand is about to kill Josuke, his cousin intervenes, stopping the attack, punching the stand, and saving Josuke. Realizing it's outmatched, the stand vanishes. Josuke's cousin asks Josuke to heal his injury, but Josuke's stand cannot heal human injuries directly. They then notice the stand emerging from the steam, realizing that the water stand has transformed itself into steam. Since the stand draws power from water, it changed into steam, which then spreads throughout the house. Josuke breaks through a wall to enter another room, but this turns out to be a trap. The water stand attacks Josuke and enters his body through his mouth. The killer outside believes he has won. But Josuke, with great cleverness, uses his stand power to pull a rubber glove from inside his stomach. He had previously swallowed pieces of a rubber glove and then regenerated them using his power to form a complete glove, effectively trapping the water stand. Shaking the glove, they hear a voice from outside and go to investigate. They find the serial killer there. It becomes clear that any damage sustained by a stand also harms its user. The killer reveals that he acquired his powers after being struck by an arrow from Arza. Josuke then delivers a brutal end to the killer. He punches a stone with his stand and then uses his power to restore the stone, trapping the killer inside, which leads to his death. At his grandfather's funeral, Josuke senses that he is being watched. Following this feeling, he goes to an empty building, with Koichi insisting on joining him. Inside, they discover a young boy who stabs Koichi with a knife, causing him to fall. The boy steps on Koichi, but Josuke orders him to stop. An arrow then appears and injures Koichi further. The boy reveals himself to be Arza's 8-year-old brother. He commands his hair, which seems to be a part of his stand power, to kill people and locate the serial killer. Arza's brother attacks Josuke, who falls. Josuke realizes that Arza's brother's stand power resides in his right hand, and he manages to grab it just in time. However, the stand frees itself and strikes a notice board with its right hand. Josuke observes that a part of the sign has vanished. It turns out Arza's brother's power is the ability to erase things. He erases the distance between himself and Josuke, then punches Josuke to the ground. Josuke devises a plan, provoking Arza's brother to attack him. When Arza's brother lunges, Josuke steps back. Arza's brother then erases the distance between a nearby statue and himself, causing the statue to hit him and knock him down. Josuke touches Koichi, and something like blood trailing Koichi leads them to Arza's house, where Arza is also present. As they turn, a machine gun begins firing at them. Arza's brother is shot multiple times while trying to protect Arza. Josuke pulls Koichi to safety and tells Arza's brother that if he reveals everything, he will let him go. But Arza's brother refuses to speak. Josuke goes upstairs but finds Arza is not there. Koichi uses his power to locate Arza outside and brings him back. Josuke then uses his stand to heal Arza's brother completely. Before they can escape, however, small helicopters surround them, trapping them in traffic. This reveals Arza's stand, known as Bad Company, an army of tiny soldiers and helicopters. Arza's power allows him to summon this army anywhere. The miniature soldiers and helicopters swarm and attack them. Josuke attempts to fight them but is quickly overwhelmed. Koichi spots a missile heading towards them and quickly warns Josuke. Josuke realizes that since Koichi can see the stands, Koichi must also be a stand user, meaning Arza had also chosen him. Arza challenges them with his Bad Company army to force Koichi to reveal his stand power. A small soldier steps on Koichi's foot, and a large, arrow-like object emerges from him, pointing into the air. This signifies that Koichi's stand appears as a giant arrow. Koichi attempts to fight Arza's army but quickly understands he cannot win. Arza orders his army to attack Koichi. Koichi pleads with him to stop, saying he is powerless once the command is given. Arza's entire army surrounds Koichi. Josuke manages to stop the incoming missile with his stand, but he is left utterly exhausted. Koichi still refuses to fight, prompting Josuke to punch him. As Arza's army moves to kill Koichi, Josuke regenerates his missile and fires it at the army, stopping them. However, it is too late. Arza has already given his command, and Josuke cannot fully protect him. The missile strikes Arza, causing all of his Bad Company to vanish. From above, they hear a voice, and a door opens. A dangerous monster grabs Arza's foot and pulls him inside. Josuke punches the monster to the ground. Arza, still alive, reveals that the monster is his father, who is no longer human but an immortal monster. Arza explains that he has been using the arrows to find a powerful stand user who can kill his father and free him from this cursed state, but all his efforts have failed. The monster is seen searching for something in a box. Josuke uses his stand to restore the box. An old family picture of Arza's family falls out, and the monster begins to cry. This shows that his father still possesses feelings. Josuke tells Arza that he can help him. Arza's brother agrees, but Arza himself refuses and tries to leave. He stops when he hears strange noises. A toy stand then breaks through the window and attacks Arza's back. Arza pushes his brother away, taking the full impact himself, and the toy stand enters his mouth. Before Koichi can save him, glass shatters, and Arza is completely destroyed. The toy stand then flees, and everything returns to normal. Josuke realizes that he is now facing a highly dangerous stand, the toy stand, which was sent by another stand user. On a table, they find a severed hand on a piece of paper, a macabre message from the toy stand user. The movie ends at this intense moment.